When you're doing score study, your initial superficial thing is going to be going online, Google, maybe use an AI, find out who the composer is, when it was composed, and then find out some generic things. So you might find, okay, this is Robert W. Smith, this was composed in the year 2000, and this is an ABA form. Fine. That's going to get you pretty far. But there's limits to that. If you just Google something and it says Beethoven written in 1770, for example, you need to know right away, just the fact that it says Beethoven, a whole sense of who that person was, the life they lived, and the stylistic influences of that. What does it mean when it's early Beethoven versus late Beethoven? They should have ramifications about style that you cannot get from a Wikipedia search. That even AI can't fully inform you how Beethoven sounds different from Haydn. They're both classical, but there's so much of your score setting that's going to be totally dependent on the depth of your historical knowledge, the depth of your musicological knowledge, your geographical knowledge. So, like for example, if you're doing a piece, Astor Piazzolla, okay, so that's a fusion of tango, jazz, and classical music. So you got the classical music probably pretty strong. You got maybe some jazz training. But how deep is your tango training? Have you really listened to that? If you just kind of listen to other tango nuevo done by other classical musicians, it's always going to have that classical accent. It's going to miss the tango-ness. So you need to spend a lot of time not just listening to one piece, but listening to like hundreds of tango pieces so that you hear the totality, the range of what makes a tango piece, the way the timbres are, the timing, the balance, the blends. All of that stuff that you're not going to get from listening to even 5 tango pieces. It's not going to be enough. So as much as you can, to further your future score study, really dig into those history classes, musicology classes, theory classes. Go and consume as much art as possible, as Frank Battisti would always say. Go to see dance, go to see theater, go to the art gallery, go see sculptures, go see clay pots. Consume all the things. And it may not affect you in this piece, this Robert W. Smith piece right here, right now, but there will be a piece that comes along later in the game where it's going to depend on the full depth of how much art, how much world, how much culture do you understand. And that's just going to take decades. So put the time in, history, musicology, theory, all the arts, and stuff that in.